in. Hey, assalamu alaikum. We're live on Facebook and YouTube now as well. I see people joining and waving. Salam, everyone. Thanks for joining. Okay, so we'll just wait 1 minute and then we'll go ahead and get started. If you have any questions, you can start typing into the chat box and I'll start talking and then I'll answer some questions whenever they start to come in. Walaikum assalam. This is so exciting. Everyone's waving. Salam. Okay. Okay, it's 6:30, so inshallah we'll go ahead and get started. There are two screens right in front of me, so I'm trying to make eye contact with both, but I'm so excited to be on here with you guys. My name's Nabila Qadri, and I'm Muhsen's volunteer coordinator. I also recently wrote and illustrated a new book for Muhsen. I'm making sure that both screens can see it. And I'm really excited to go ahead and talk about it today. Again, if you have any questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat box and I'll see them and I'll be able to answer them, inshallah. Somebody's coming home, so you can hear the garage door opening. But yeah, so thank you. That's so sweet. So basically, I'll talk to you guys a little bit about the book. The first thing I want to say, because people keep on asking, is how to purchase the book. So you can purchase it on the Muhsen website. So that's muhsen.org, muhsen.org. And if you're international, you can buy it on amazon.com. So that's really exciting. So what I want to do is talk to you a little bit about the book and the creation of it, the process of it, the intention behind it. So I'll go ahead and get started. It's very exciting to see this after months of working on it in my hand, be able to feel the pages. I'll show you guys a few of the pages as well. So the intention behind the book is that I wanted to create something that was going to speak to the niche of Muhsen. So Muhsen is individuals with special needs in the Muslim community. How does it look like? What does Muhsen do? So basically, the book is about 4 friends who each have a different special need. I'll show you a little bit. So Kareem has autism. Sophia has ADHD. Farhan has a speech delay. Layla has cerebral palsy. So they're 4 friends. They hang out all day long. They play out in the sun, and then they go inside when the fun is done. The book is rhyming. You can see that I've memorized some of the lines. But then one day they get lost and they have to figure out how to get home. So what the book does is it explains, here's what disabilities are. It explains what autism is, what ADHD is, cerebral palsy, speech delay in kid-friendly terms. And then what it does is it explains what their strengths are as well, which is really exciting. So each of us have been blessed with strengths and challenges, and it goes into that a little bit. So, you know, one of the lines is, let's see. So then Sophia had a creative thought. Let's follow our footprints, it's worth a shot. And Sophia has ADHD, and she's very creative. So she thought, let's follow our footprints when we can with this little magnifying glass. And then on the next page, it says, Kareem got overwhelmed. Oops, you can't see on this side. Kareem got overwhelmed by all of the sounds, so the friends gave him some time and sat on the ground. Kareem has autism, and so lots of different sounds and colors, being in a different place, that might be overwhelming to him. It's a lot of stimuli. And so he, had to sit down and he covered his ears, and his friends gave him some space. You can see Farhan's giving him a little back rub. So they're able to go ahead and, work with each other and support them in their challenges and celebrate their strengths. So what it does at the end is, at the end it has tips and a guided discussion. So tips for talking to your children about disabilities and guided questions for discussion. I know that not every parent knows a lot about disabilities. Some parents might feel uncomfortable. I don't want to say the wrong thing or use the wrong language, and that's really respectful. And so here's just, something to help you get started, to ask questions, things like it's okay to notice, but be respectful, that type of thing. There's some pages about Muhsen, all of that. If I'm trying to scroll through, walaikum assalam, a lot of people are saying salam. If anybody has any questions about the process of creating the book, I can talk about that a little bit as well. But the book is for children with special needs and children that don't have special needs as well. For children that have special needs, it's wonderful because they're able to see somebody like them in media, in a book. And for those that don't have special needs, it's a great way to start a conversation about what special needs is. We understand that, disability doesn't discriminate whether you're Black or you're white or you're Muslim or you're non-Muslim. So we do have individuals that have special needs that are in the Muslim community. We want to support them, and that starts from a young age. And so, that's what this book is about, just planting the seed. Hey, there are a lot of different types of people. Each of them have their own challenges. Each of them have their own strengths. It says at the end of the book, one of the guided discussions is, how can you relate to these characters? What are your own strengths? What are your own challenges? And so it goes into a little bit about that. And so I'm getting questions about what's the recommended age for the book. There are only, 2 lines per page, and they're quite short. They have pretty simple language. I would say age range is about 7 to 10, but definitely younger children, it's great to see a character that is in a wheelchair because I'm sure when they go out, they might see people that are in wheelchairs, and individuals that are older as well might not have been talked to about special needs. And so that would be a great way to kind of start a conversation about that as well. I know that sometimes it's hard to start a conversation. It's hard to figure out what to say or do. And so this is a good way to go ahead and, have us a little conversation, say Allah created us all in a unique way. Some people he blessed with, legs where they can walk around. Some people he blessed with, the ability to get around in a wheelchair. We're all different. We're all special in different ways. And there are characters that have, disabilities that are, visible, like Nayla, who has cerebral palsy. And then there are invisible disabilities, like Farhan, who has a speech delay. He may, look completely typical. And then when you talk to him, then you realize that he might have some type of special needs. I'm getting a question that says, does Muhsen provide resources to include this book into Islamic school curriculum? So this book, I didn't talk about that, but this book would be a great addition to an Islamic school library, or to talk about in any type of school setting, because, oftentimes we're focusing on a lot of different things that are extremely important, right? And really important topics. One of those important topics should be special needs. It was talked about during the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we should, continue that on to today. So yeah, I have like some notes written down here what to talk about. So some key takeaways from the book are that, it says on these last few pages, they use their teamwork to help them get home. Each person used their strengths, and for each person's challenges, they supported them. Yeah, so I can go into a little bit about the process of creating the book. A few months ago, I, had the idea. I wanted to do something creative. I wanted to do something that was, impact driven. That's really important to me. And so, I had the idea to write a children's book for Muhsen. There are virtually no books about special needs for the Muslim community, for Muslim children, and there are lots of Muslim children that have disabilities. So, I thought that was a wonderful way to kind of bridge that gap. So, first, the process is get the ideas down on paper. What do you want to convey in the story? What is the age range? When you're working with the special needs community, there are a lot of different things that go into that. So can somebody with special needs read this book? What do the pages look like? They might be overwhelming for some individuals. Some individuals may not be able to read with an ebook, which may be more accessible to those individuals because it has text to speech. And screen reader availability. So there are a lot of different things that go into that behind the scenes. And then what I did is I created the manuscript, so the written portion of it, all the rhyming, trying to figure out how do you talk about ADHD in a kid-friendly way. Now, will they remember the phrase ADHD? I doubt that. Little kids, this is a vocab term. They won't remember that necessarily. But you say, Sophia has ADHD. She has a tough time paying attention. She may not sit still, even though that's her intention. So that may explain it the next time that somebody is not sitting still, or they look a little bit different, or they don't like to be touched, or they don't like to be talked to in a certain way. And so it just gives them that inkling, okay, this person might be a little bit different, and that's all right. And so then after that was, kind of edited through lots of people. Thank you to all of the people that edited that manuscript. It's a process, but I appreciate it. And then I went into drawing. So I used somebody had asked this question. I used an app called Procreate, which is on the iPad. And, I went through each page, hand drawing it. There's a lot of details in it. So I hope you appreciate that. And it was really, I love the process. I've always been somebody that's been pretty creative, and I love doing this type of thing. I liked writing poetry when I was younger. I always loved drawing, and so to put those two loves together, which for Muhsen was literally the best thing that I can imagine. So it was really, really wonderful for me as well. I put the book together after that. The actual text is 24 pages. The actual story is 24 pages. The Facebook and YouTube can't see that I'm flipping through it. And then there's a few pages at the end and the beginning as well. So, and we published through Amazon, which was really easy and really exciting. Ramadan all day. Thank you for doing this. Pretty amazing for someone so young, forward thinking, love it. Alhamdulillah. This is, this is such a passion project for me, and to have the ability and um, time to be able to do it. That's a huge blessing. That doesn't go unnoticed by me. Um, does Muhsen provide any books who addresses the struggles of adults with disabilities? This specifically is a children's book about children. We don't have any books at this moment, but inshallah, we're going to be have the intention to create a series about each of these characters and them going on Umrah. Muhsin goes on Umrah trips every year. MashaAllah, doing Quran tutoring. We provide free Quran tutoring for students with disabilities, and that's young children, adults, and everyone in between. Also, I suggest that the kids would appreciate a comic book series about superheroes who have disabilities. Yes, that would be wonderful. Inshallah, we'll be able to fulfill that. Will you be going on tour to do book readings for children and book signings? Inshallah, when Muhsin is able to travel, I'm sure that wherever we go, we will be, bringing books with us, and inshallah, if I'm there, I will sign copies. Most people with disabilities who get Social Security benefits like supplemental security income, it helps. I'm not sure what this person is talking about, but Renee Sandoval, please DM Muhsin and I'll answer your question. Faryal says, can you do a read aloud for Islamic schools? Oh, yes, I should have talked about that. Thank you, Faryal. So this book is out, it's published, mashallah. You can buy it on muhsen.org, and you can buy it on Amazon. And I would love to be more than happy to go to any Islamic schools. We can do a read aloud of the book. I can talk about the process of being an author and an illustrator. We can do a workshop about disabilities for youth. And so, anything that you kind of need, whether that's online or in person, be more than happy to do that. I love talking about this because I love Muhsin, I love writing, and I love illustrating. So that would be great. The colors used in the illustrations are stunning. Thank you so much. How much does the book cost? The book costs $15, and that's with shipping. So if you wanted to buy the book potentially for your masjid or for your Islamic school or for et cetera, you can buy a bundle of 10 for $120. So you can buy it as a bundle like that. If you do, I will help host you in New York. That would be wonderful. I would love that. That would be great. I see everyone waving as well, which is so exciting. We'll wave back. It says, you mentioned an ebook. How can one get access to this? So the ebook is on Amazon only. You can get it through Kindle, which is just an app. It's a free app. And you can download that ebook for $7. And it has all of the pages, like I said, text to speech and screen reader if that's something that you need. What can we do as an audience to support the production of more books like this? Thank you for that question, Anissa. What you can do is you can support Muhsin. And go ahead and buy the book. What's great about this is, that's something that you can do financially, and what you can do that will have an impact on younger generations is to read the book and to talk about special needs. One of our pillars is awareness of special needs. We know that in our culture there in Muslim culture, there's a huge stigma of special needs, and we're fighting to combat that with Muhsen, which it's a wonderful cause, but what you can do is talk about it, talk about Muhsen, talk about special needs. Special needs have are a huge range of people, and subhanallah, like any one of us could join that group of people at any time, whether somebody has a mental disability or as they're getting older they start to lose their eyesight, for example. And so what we can do is plant that seed in younger individuals so that when they get older, inshallah, that stigma starts to be less and less. Okay. Question says, and I'm not seeing any questions if they're coming up on Facebook or YouTube, but I will be responding to those later, inshallah. I'm seeing, oh, okay, so I did see a question pop up. So I guess I can see it. So are you going to do any more? Thank you for that question. So inshallah, I will be creating upcoming stories about each of these characters at different, in different scenarios. Farhan he has a speech delay. He'll probably be learning Arabic. And, the reason that we do something like that is because we have one-on-one lessons so that each student can have a dedicated person talking to them, figuring out and brainstorming what are the best ways to go about teaching that individual something that we all have, the luxury of being able to learn it on our own, go in and be in a large class. And that's why we give online free tutoring. Excellent launch, alhamdulillah, mashallah. If you ever decide to make an audiobook, I would love to audition for it. That's wonderful. Yes, I would love that. That would be great. Inshallah. I can't wait for you to get the book as well. When you get it, please take a picture and show me. I'm seeing some pictures pop up on here as well. Where did you learn to draw? These are cartoons. So I like to draw from a young age. Probably at some points it was better than others, but what's important to me is to include a lot of, to show diversity, not just in that there are individuals with special needs, but the Muslim population has so many different, types of people. And so that's important to me as well, in showing that. This is one of my favorite pages, or my favorite spreads. So excited to be ordering this today for our Sunday school library. Oh, that makes me so happy to hear. Inshallah, everyone is able to, enjoy it as well. How did you get the idea for this book? This book specifically, I wanted to create a book about special needs for the Muslim community, and I thought, what's an important thing to teach? This is the first book of kind of, that's a large undertaking. What is the first kind of commentary that a child should be learning about in terms of disabilities? And I thought that a really important lesson is that, individuals with special needs and individuals that do not have special needs all need to learn and understand that Allah created us all in perfection. Allah created us all with our own in our own needs and our own challenges and our own, passions and our own personalities, and all of that filters into who you are, not just, special needs. And so these four friends are able to kind of work together and solve a problem, because we always have to have that adventure aspect as well. What font did you use for the book? It's really fitting for the book, mashallah. So this is actually my handwriting. which was it's mirrored on Instagram, but on Facebook and YouTube, you can see it the proper way. All of the entire book is my handwriting, which was really exciting. You know, on the first few pages, I did the illustrations that I was going back to input the text, and I was like scrolling through and scrolling through fonts, and I was like, well, as a placeholder, I'll just write it in. I started to write it in, and then I was like, look, that's okay. That looks pretty good. So then I continued. And what I like about that is that, you know, each letter is unique. It's not a specific font. It says, Cameo says, are marketing this to the non-Muslim population since everyone can benefit from this? You know, um, we're focusing on the Muslim community, but I've had a lot of people that are non-Muslim as well buy it. I think it's a great story to teach non-Muslims as well. You know, there's a lot of diversity in the Muslim community as well as the overall population. So if non-Muslim children see individuals that have special needs, that wear hijab, that are of different races, all of that intersectionality is something that they need to see as well. So I think that it would be extremely, you know, powerful for it. Is there a way to get a cameo in the upcoming books in the series? That's funny. I actually, there's a cat in the story right there. Right there. And I recently got a cat, and so he made a cameo. It's my sister's cat actually, but he made a cameo into the book. I wonder if we can add the book to school libraries and public libraries as well of diversity inclusion. That would be wonderful. I think definitely a next step is to you know, talk to different school districts to see where we can make an impact with this book on a larger scale. I know that, you know, I'm seeing the sales online, so I see that people from different countries are buying it as well. Some people on here might be from different countries as well. So, you know, I think that's really exciting. Yes, everyone request your local library to get the book. How long did it take for you to complete this book? I started this process back in November, and it's finally done now. There was a lot of drawings going on during class, so and I just finished my quarter, so make dua that I did well. Okay, a question is, for the autistic kid, have you labeled him child with autism or autistic child? The only time that it says autism in the book is this line right here that says Kareem has autism. His brain develops in a unique way. What we typically use in Muhsen and what's commonly accepted is using person first language. So that's putting the person before their disability. So for example, from your comment, it would say child with autism rather than autistic child. What it does for that person, and it gives them respect. Hey, this person's a child, a Muslim, a girl, an engineer. And then what it does for yourself is it kind of rewires your brain, and it says, hey, this person's a person. This person's a child, it's a girl, this is somebody that I can empathize with, that, you know, this is a way that they're labeled, a way that I'm also labeled is in this way. You know, maybe I talk too much, so, you know, or I'm bossy, or I'm, you know, mean, and maybe that's something that I have a challenge with. I'm arrogant, and so that's something that, you know, I could be labeled with as well. That's a challenge that I have as well. But some individuals prefer to say autistic child, so we have to keep that in mind. If somebody says, hey, I prefer this, we say, okay, I'm sorry, and continue on and be able to use the proper language that they would prefer. MashaAllah, I love all of the messages, illustrations, and style. Keep up the great job. Our Muslim community needs more talented people like you. That's so sweet. Thank you so much. Inshallah, all of the efforts are, all of, Muhsen's efforts and my efforts are accepted. Please make dua for me. Do you also support non-Muslim people's special needs? Definitely. Muhsen, the purpose of Muhsen is to specifically support Muslims with special needs because that is the niche. MashaAllah, there are wonderful and large organizations that support all different types of people with special needs. And we know that we have specific needs as Muslims in our masjids, in our community, in our programming. And so that's what we specifically focus on, Muslim needs. That's why we take people to Umrah. That's why we take that's why we have Quran tutoring and things like that non-Muslim individuals may not, need that type of programming. So that's what we specifically are creating programming for. I totally would not mind being in a book as a cartoon along with my wheelchair. That's so exciting. Actually, I'm going to end the live stream in just 2 minutes, inshallah, once I finish these questions. But at the end of the book, there are actually real families with special needs, some of our Muhsen families that I drew. So definitely, if you're interested in that, we can go ahead and make that happen. Is it available to visually impaired kids? So right now what we're working on is with the ebook, creating an audio book. So if at least we're trying to create, a read aloud on YouTube so that people that are visually impaired, they can go ahead and listen to the book. As I said, there's also a screen reader on our ebook, and so that can be used as well. I agree with expanding to the non-Muslim community. Yes, non-Muslim libraries have all different kinds of books from different religions, and so I don't see why, we can't do that. Woohoo, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, this was absolutely wonderful. I'm so happy. I should increase my brightness. I don't know why it's down low, but I'm so happy to be able to share this with all of you. I see so many people getting on, joining and waving, a lot of people that I know as well and that I don't know, which is so exciting for so many different reasons. But I'll go ahead and really quickly say again, if you want to buy the book, you can go on muhsen.org. And then if you're international, you can buy the book on Amazon, or if you want to buy the ebook, you can also go on Amazon, inshallah. I really appreciate the support. Please make dua for Muhsen, for me, and continue to support us in any way that you can. The first step of it is just to talk about special needs, to educate yourself, to educate the people around you, and create accommodations for people with special needs. A lot of special needs are invisible. We don't know what people are walking around with every day, what struggles, what disabilities. And so what we can do is have patience, create accommodations for these individuals, support them in the ways that we can. I really appreciate all of your time. Inshallah, we'll go ahead and keep on making updates about different books. Okay, Jazakallah, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. And I have to awkwardly stay on for a second to stop the